And just days after the world came to Russia for the Olympic Games, it would invite the condemnation of nations around the world. And indeed, the United States will stand with the international community in affirming that there will be costs for any military intervention in Ukraine.
President Obama's warning to Russian President Vladimir Putin against intervening in Ukraine. But today, Russia's parliament granting Putin permission to use the country's military in Ukraine. What exactly are our options right now? Stephen Yates joins us, former Deputy Assistant for National Security Affairs to Vice President Dick Cheney. He's also Distinguished Fellow at Hamilton Foundation. Stephen, good to see you as always. Are we witnessing, do you think, a sort of a serious breakdown of U.S. foreign policy in this?
I do. I think when we look at several different crises, but this Ukrainian crisis really brings it to the fore, we have an administration that wants to look at these problems in the most minimalist way. So we have a political dispute in the Ukraine, and everyone should just negotiate their way through it peacefully without taking into account that you have a large, significant strategic force like Russia that has already intervened and is seeking strategic advantage through a comprehensive strategy that, frankly, is working to date.
Russia, is it not, is expanding its control over sovereign territory with strategic interests. Is that their desire?
Yeah, well, we've seen it before in Georgia, and we'll see it again if they have nothing but a green light in situations like this. They use economic leverage, whether it's turning on or off the spigot of gas and oil or other kinds of economic inducements. They use troop training and material assistance to these countries, and then they use ethnic Russians in these geographies to influence politics as well.
Yeah. It's not just Ukraine, but critics of President Obama say that, he is passive, he is inattentive to the dangers that are posed by Syria and Iran. The latter country is proceeding in developing nuclear weapons. So do you view this as a fairly consistent pattern?
I do. I think when you look, and it really matters a little less what American critics of the president might say, but people who are against these forces abroad, whether they're the Iranians under oppression, whether it's the Syrians suffering under a civil war, and then the Ukrainians who are trying to get out from under the thumb of Russia after long last. The people who are seeking their freedom and self-determination are the ones that ask, where is America? We have these empty talks of consequences and red lines, but those who are pursuing aggression are moving forward mostly unhindered.
Do you suspect President Obama is dedicated to a legacy, his own, actually, of ending two wars, starting no other wars? And is that, in the end, going to be a legacy of finalizing America's influence in strategic areas in the world, ending it, and sort of leaving a void for Russia to exploit?
A void for Russia and a void for any other major strategic force. I mean, we have large movements like Islamism or the Iranian Shia uprising that are reshaping the geostrategic map. And what we have is a presidency defined by withdrawal from the wars and retreat and sort of becoming a normal power, not an exceptional power, not a superpower, that's leaving events to work their own way, absent our influence. And those trends are not moving in a very happy direction for us.
Some people have said the president has no options here. That's not true, is it?
No, I think that's very, very wrong. I think we've been stuck on a false choice between invading or ignoring when it comes to these crises abroad. But at a minimum, we could speak with clarity and truth about the forces that are out there that have been aggressive and are trying to transform the world in incorrect ways, whether it's the Islamist movement or, in this case, Russia. We could at least be clear about who's doing what, and we can try to delegitimize and frustrate what they're trying to do. Countries in Eastern Europe in particular have a history of being under Russia's thumb, and they can see clearly what Putin's doing. We should be working to wake them from their postmodern dream to push back.
And we could also make it clear that any other country that provides material support to Ukraine will not be punished, and in fact they'll be supported in that, right? We could do
That's
that.
a very important principle. I mean, we learned with Libya and with some other places when the United States came forward with a policy of supporting change, they left on the books sanctions that could have penalized those who acted in ways we did not. And so arming rebels in Syria was something people could be sanctioned for a very long time. And if some in Europe want to help the Ukrainians protect their self-determination, we should make clear if we're not going to be the ones helping it, we're certainly not going to sanction those who step in.
Well, and the states that are most coerced by Moscow, I mean, they need energy independence. We could help there too, right?
That's right. The biggest tool of coercion that Russia has used has been turning on and off gas and oil. And I think that Western Europe in particular should be willing and lead an effort to help these Eastern European states achieve independence from Russia from that threat of coercion.
Stephen Yates, always good to talk to you. Stephen, thanks very much.
Thank you, Greg.
All right.
Thank you.
The crisis in Ukraine.